The bleached blonde, bad-built, big-body butch congresswoman from Georgia finally yanked the ripcord on her congressional grift fest. Marjorie Taylor Greene announced, surprisingly, that she was quitting Congress. In a 10-minute video dumped on X, she was on a couch sitting down on what looked somewhat like a trailer park Christmas special. What I'm most mad about is that she wasn't committed to the bit. She should have chugged a warm natty light, crushed the can on her forehead, flicked cigarette ash onto a Dollar General candle, ripped a stack of losing scratch-offs on the coffee table, yelled at an off-camera pit bull to shut up, wiped orange Cheeto dust from her pajama shorts, and then screamed, "I'm out this bitch." And after the cameras turned off, she could go back to what she really is. She could torch the whole trailer park studio set. That's basically what this announcement was. All this whole phony, "I'm in Congress for you," all of that's over now. So figuratively burn the whole trailer park act and the whole studio set. Head back to her Alpharetta mini mansion where she can hide from associating with the plebs like a true American politician. A few years ago, I would have been shocked and disappointed to hear about our MAGA mom quitting. I spent time as stuck in the middle and middle MAGA buying into some of her best moments. The heartfelt speech on the floor when she was stripped of her committee assignments. That's probably where all this whole dark path started. And favorite clip of the channel of her talking about peaceful national divorce. This is now index red, as things are a little bit different now. When you strip her down, no pun intended, to her core, like a tantric sex guru fitness manager, she's a Zionist. She always belonged to a different political party than me. I just didn't realize it at the time. Now it's index red. No more games, just the signal. Washington, D.C. is an entertainment arena for billionaires where we, the Goyim citizens, are clowns believing this WWF-like entity is real. Her Bible Belt, Auntie, God, Guns, and Grievance Act, it did its job and multiplied her net worth by roughly 35 times, allegedly. She got the bag. She's officially going to retire a couple days after her federal pension becomes fully vested. Keep in mind, it's only been 5 years since her 2021 swearing in. The short time in a vacuum is not the problem. Congressional terms were meant to be short. That was by design. But the thought was that congressmen would be serving the public. They are the closest to the people in Washington, D.C., and that comes with a lot of pressure, a lot of heat. So 2-year terms would feel like 12-year terms. They would be serving the public at significant sacrifice. I know it sounds funny. Hear me out. That's what it was by design, personally and financially. Then men would return to serving their family as the singular focus. MTG came in with a net worth of reportedly, allegedly about 700,000 and is leaving with it, I don't know, maybe about 24 million or so, give or take a million. The only ones who sacrificed their dignity here are Georgia's 14th and our whole country. I know she's mad she can't stay longer. Her self-serving, non-productive theatrics and the congressional stock trading casino where she bet big on defense contractors and big pharma while ranting about the deep state, it paid off. Here's the most important line of her resignation fiasco for me.
I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well.
It was the self-own that nuked the whole warrior mom facade, staring into the camera, reading her script, "I refuse to be a battered wife," hoping the abuser will finally change.
I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better.
That was the confession. Under all the God and country cosplay, the Bible verses cited between deadlift sets, the poor formed pull-ups and pearls, we could visibly see the amount of testosterone in her face her whole time in Congress, and we never said anything because she was that MAGA mom. But when push comes to shove, even with those elevated levels of manhood, she reacted with pure estrogen. She is a gold digger who stayed for the political bruises Only because MAGA and Orange Man in public service were her sugar daddies. That's how she got paid. Politics peeled back here with her resignation video and exposed the mask, not just of herself, but another line in the never-ending list of evidence of why women aren't built for the Coliseum. That's not even a strong enough statement. That would be like saying men aren't built to give birth. Literally, men can't give birth. Literally, women are not built for the political Coliseum. Men eat haymakers, spit out figurative blood, reload the figurative chambers, and metaphorically fire back even after the bag is secured. That's just because it's our natural state as men. Donald Trump's a billionaire. He's still out here not backing down with the worst possible takes imaginable because he's a man's man. That is God's design. Women, they film the pity party and then they bail. Marjorie Taylor Greene just etched it in stone. I will agree when anyone is right because the truth is the truth. But I am now confidently a never Carrie Laker, a never Kamala Harriser, a never MTGer. And outside of hairy-palmed moments of weakness, I'm never a Lauren Boebert. I'm never a Jasmine Crockett. No to dames dialing up the next World War III apocalypse with their right-wing feminism. That's my biggest takeaway. Biology does not negotiate. God does not negotiate. Why would someone write such a poor analogy in a pre-written retirement speech? Politics is supposed to be about taking the punches. You know, the cliche that they all say, we're fighting for you. I'm in DC, I'm fighting for you. Until the resignation letter comes in.
I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican.
I'm not fighting for you. I never really was. This is proof that she never really believed that. It's an estrogen crash at the end of the fake tough guy run. You insert women into direct lines of power regarding matters of war, life, and death. You get weak resignation videos and battered wife analogies, not strength. If you want to see what God actually lays out for women, you do not need another turning point panel or a heritage policy paper. Turns out we need the patriarchy. Proverbs 31 shows us that biblical patriarchy is not a cage for women. It's actually a stage built to put them on by men who answer to God. That Bible chapter does not present us a fragile right-wing girl boss like Erica Kirk or MTG pretending to be a leader, getting bent over by two men, allegedly, at the gym outside of marriage. It holds up a wife whose price is far above rubies, whose husband's heart safely trusts in her. And in return, she does him good and not evil all days of her life. Proverbs describes a life planting vineyards, trading merchandise, clothing her house in scarlet so nobody freezes when the storm hits, stretching out her hands to the poor, opening her mouth with wisdom, including politics, while the law of kindness sits on her tongue as well, while ultimately trusting her husband with making that final call when he sitteth among the elders of the land.
The way I would put it very succinctly is men right now are the responsible party, but have no authority. And that doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
You know, if you are held, if the buck stops with you and you're to blame and you're the responsible one, then you also need to be able to have the final say and call the shots.
Yep.
And one without the other doesn't work. And I think
that's really smart and absolutely right.
It means men have the responsibility in this biblical hierarchy that MTG pretended to believe and still does. If she truly believed in this biblical hierarchy, she would have never ran for public office. The resignation letter would have been a lot different. Proverbs 31 does not excuse porn-soaked, lazy, abusive males. It condemns them. This does not excuse warmongers. It doesn't excuse Lindsey Grahams and Cash the Valhalla Jeet Patel, who besides their horrific politics aren't even married and have positions of power. You don't even have a household to be head of. You need to step aside right after MTG, both of y'all, all of y'all. Because the same Bible tells husbands to love their wives as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, and to dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife. None of these females should be in DC, but women are not disposable extras. They are very valuable, so valuable that God commands men and society to rise up and call them blessed, to give them the fruit of their hands, to let their own works praise them in the gates. Again, for those in the back, there is no claim here that men are perfect. It is that God's design puts the heavier load on male shoulders so that women can be treasured, protected, and publicly honored for the role they play. Instead of being shoved into the arena, broken by it, prostituting themselves for it, and then, as bad as MTG and others are, wrongly blamed for failing. The responsibility for this failure is on us. Allowing women to even consider positions of power that God designated for men is the true definition of toxic masculinity. We saw this exit ramp flashing years ago. Remember back in the pandemic days, the whole right wing was roaring. They were like, well, why the hell ain't Congress busting their asses in session like the rest of us grunts? They're working virtually. But there she was, MTG, proxy voting remotely 22 times, handing her ballot off to Paul Gosar from wherever, the Bahamas, Mexico. Allegedly, he was the virtual voting diva ditching the grind. And admittedly, it was probably because when she got to Congress, she realized this whole thing was a game. Let me just secure the money. But she became what we opposed. While she was doing hammer curls in Dubai or wherever she was, that was the first red flag for me. She was involved in a lot of bitch shit, though. Remember she cornered Cori Bush in the Capitol corridor over those worthless face diapers, barking so savage at Bush and Bush coming back. It was like trailer trash versus ghetto trash. Cori Bush bolted from her office for safety. Branded Marjorie Taylor Greene a white supremacist riot ringleader, straight out of a BLM playbook. In reality, that would have been a good battle, gorilla versus gorilla, kind of like Caesar and Aldo from Planet of the Apes. Then we had the fireworks on the house. The albino ape MTG snarled, "Lil bitch," right in the sexy big meloned librarian Lauren Boebert's grill over that impeachment turf war. Then she got herself ejected from the Freedom Caucus like a rowdy sorority pledge, fracturing the ranks when unity was the only shot at draining the damn swamp. Remember, that was before we knew draining the swamp was Donald Trump on his knees for Bill or Bubba. Maybe. She went on all the news outlets, basically put on her version of Jasmine Crockett, got her hair and nails did, and sold out MAGA. Sold out MAGA to back the most likely gay guy, Kevin McCarthy, living with Frank Luntz. What a weird arrangement that was. So enjoy your retirement, Marjorie. Go back to the gym, start up a podcast. God knows we need another one of those. Bang another tantric guru. Post some more pull-up videos where your form looks like a salmon having a seizure. The rest of us will be here remembering the lesson that you tattooed in our consciousness. Whether people admit it out loud or not, we all know that civilizations who let women lead end up as footnotes. Rome didn't fall because of barbarians at the gates. The emancipation of women in the late Roman Empire fueled the downfall of their society, LGBTQ and trans stuff, crashing birth rates among the elites, noble dames and widows dodging remarriage and dodging having kids to chase their feminist independence, starving Rome of the manpower needed to hold the line against the hordes. Sound familiar? It fell the day it forgot who's supposed to hold the sword and who's supposed to sharpen it at home. God bless the fighters who know their lane, and God help the ones who don't.
Jim's Tattoos sent $5. Marjorie Taylor Greene did 6 million pull-ups in her life. That's why she's like Donkey Kong.
No, I don't think. I think she's got early. She is not a Homo sapien. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a Homo sapien. Well, if I get elected, I will appoint a special prosecutor to look into your situation, because there's never been so many lies, so much commingling of DNA. There have never been so many early hominid features on a politician. You would be restrained and put in a laboratory if you had 1/2 of the Neanderthal DNA that you do. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. My theory is that she was thawed out from the ice, and or she was found in a cave somewhere. There must be some sort of cavern that she escaped from Stone Mountain, Georgia. She emerged from the Stone Mountain, Georgia cave, a remnant of the Paleolithic period, a remnant of a prehistoric period before the written word, before the Homo sapien dominated the planet. You look at her face, it's pretty. You look at her bone structure, you know what I'm talking about? You look at her bone structure, her facial structure. We are not dealing with a Homo sapien. I think that's why she doesn't know how to act. I think that's why she acts like such a buffoon, is because she's from a pre-civilizational time. She's from a prehistorical time. All she knows are crude stone tools, arrowheads, and spears. She is not a Homo sapien. Her brain is significantly smaller than a human child's brain. A human person's brain consumes 20% of a human being's energy. But with such a small weight, she can't even handle that kind of brain power. She can't even, her brain cannot handle that. So anyway, we have to investigate that. And now I don't want to make the mistake that Martin Shkreli did, but if you happen to have a lock of Marjorie Taylor Greene's hair, we could submit it to a laboratory. We could map her genome. We could get to the bottom of what's going on. I'm not saying that you should go out and get a lock of her hair. I'm saying if you have one, we can begin to decode it and get to the bottom of what's really going on with her. Because honestly, it's a great tragedy that she's holding that back from science. The mysteries we could unlock about our own origin as a species. If she would just submit herself. I bet the first day in Congress, she pulled her pants down and jumped on the copy machine and made copies of her butt like a stupid fucking monkey, because that's what she is. I bet Marjorie Taylor Greene on her first day at Capitol Hill, she looked at the copy machine and she was like, whoa. And then she opened up the copier and she put her bare ass on and made copies of it, like in a TV show, like a monkey in a TV show. The missing link, exactly. And she's a gorilla. So she doesn't belong. Marjorie Taylor Greene belongs in a zoo. Marjorie Taylor Greene does not belong in the halls of Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene belongs in a zoo, specifically the primate section of the zoo. She belongs in the monkey house. She belongs she's a simian. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a simian. She swings from vines and she's bananas upside down. I saw Marjorie Greene peel a banana with her feet once. And she didn't even peel it. She just squeezed it, and the banana, like a cartoon, flew out of the peel and down her gullet like a monkey in the Jungle Book. Like Louis Prima in the Jungle Book. I saw her with my eyes. I saw her grab a bushel of bananas and start blasting them off and chugging them down. When she got to AFPAC 3, she got there by vines. She was swinging from vines. She didn't arrive in a car. We had to give her shoes. She's like George of the Jungle. Anyway. Marjorie Greene. Jane Goodall taught Marjorie Greene sign language in the 1990s. That formed the basis of her understanding of the human language. Then she escaped from captivity, wasn't seen since, and resurfaced in the 2020 congressional race in the Georgia district. It's jokes. Hey, it's just jokes. Just kidding. Hey, just kidding. Rise of the Planet of the Apes is a documentary about Marjorie Greene. She's best friends with James Franco. She spared James Franco's life after he dropped an anti-Alzheimer mist inside of her cage. She said, Caesar is home. She hails from the redwood trees. Anyway, all right. But we got to move on. Enough about Marjorie Greene, okay? Enough about Marjorie Greene. Marjorie Greene be like, Caesar is home. Marjorie is home. Marjorie Greene grabbed my arm at AFPAC 3. I said, get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. And then I hit her with the electric thing, and she said, no, no. And everybody was horrified. It was it was a moment of sheer human horror. Existential horror when we heard Marjorie speak her first words when she shouted, no! All right, anyway. Okay, all right. Okay. Anyway, all right, anyway. Okay. Anyway. Her arms have hair, another feature left over. Has anybody ever seen Marjorie when it's a full moon? Just wondering. Has anybody ever seen Marjorie when it's a full moon? I've heard a rumor that she goes through some changes when I guess that's more of a werewolf. But has anybody ever seen her during a full moon? Has anyone? $10,000 for anybody to get a picture of her on the night of a full moon, verified. All right, anyway. All right. Okay, all right. Well, that's nasty. That's dirty and nasty. We don't need to stoop to her level. We don't need to get down in the dirty with her. We don't need to get down dirty with Marjorie when it comes to her hominid DNA. That's just not even nice. That's not kind at all. We should attack her on her merits. Like that she's a Jewish shill. Okay, all right. Well, let's move on. All right, enough about Marjorie. I'm sure she's a very nice
Nolan
lady.
Taylor sent $5.
This is Index Red. No more games, no more masks, just the signal.